Honorable Lady.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the statement ably made by the Minister for Youth and Sports on the performance of the Black Stars. Mr. Speaker, I would like to commend the Minister, his ministry, and for that matter, the government, for putting everything in place to ensure that the team had very good preparations before they embarked on this journey to Qatar. When the President visited them in camp, the GFA President commended the President for making sure that they had all the resources they need before coming back, before going to Qatar. So I commend the President on that score. Mr. Speaker, I would like to also commend you for your patriotic support. I saw you in your number 3 jersey watching the football match from the Speaker's lobby. And I could see that you were very happy that you were doing very well. Unfortunately, we didn't be able to sail through from that group stage, but I think that you did your best and your support was highly very noted. Mr. Speaker, I would also like to commend Morocco for making Africa proud, for going through all the group stages to place 4th. I think that it's an honor for all of us, even though we couldn't get there. And I'm Argentina for winning the World Cup, and for France for also playing very well and defending the cup. Mr. Speaker, back home, Honorable Minister rightly said that we will learn from our mistakes and correct the wrongs. Mr. Speaker, we went to the World Cup in 2005, we went to South Africa, we went to Brazil. I don't know at what point that will still be correcting our wrongs. We should have learned from our mistakes long ago. In South Africa, at least, we qualified through to the quarterfinals when Uruguay, unfortunately, Asamoah Gyan missed that penalty. We went to Brazil and back in Qatar. I've been asking myself whether the correction should be coming from the players themselves, our selection of coaches, our selection of players, or the alleged interference from GFA. I don't know where the corrections ought to come from, but I believe that we should have learned our mistakes long ago. We have a very young team. We have very skillful individual players. Ghanaians were hoping that at least we'll qualify from the group stages to the next level. We lost to Portugal. We came back strongly to win against South Korea. And even though we're sitting on thorns at the time, the last 20 to 30 minutes was very difficult for our Black Stars team. But they did their best and won against South Korea. It was so much joy in Qatar. You know, everybody was supporting Ghana. All the other countries were supporting. Even Qatar themselves were supporting Ghana. And unfortunately, we lost against Uruguay again. And through a penalty kick-out. As I stood there and I watched the day, I asked myself whether the coach really had plans or whether the coach had already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in case we're going to do a penalty shootout. Because I could see from the day's countenance at the time that he was even jittery when he picked the ball. So I told colleagues who are around me that if you are not lucky, the day will miss the penalty because the way he was jittery. But it goes back to our coach. It takes the coach, it takes the playing body, the technical team, and all of us. A lot of people have spoken about our coach and as a player scout. Yes, he qualified us for the World Cup. But what happened there in Qatar? A lot of people spoke about some players after the first match. I'm not a football player, but I love football. And I know that once you score a goal as a player, you need about 4 or 5 minutes to settle within yourself. When they scored the goal, he together with Kudos, he changed them. They had hardly finished, celebrating the goal when he was changed. And then just within 5 or 10 minutes, with 2 goals. A lot of people spoke about some of the selection of players. And this will take me back to GFA. That is being alleged that they always interfere in player selection, even at the World Cup. If that is so, then I think GFA needs to change their ways. And I think that they should know that football, on all the under 20, the under 23, the Black Satellites, all the female teams, it doesn't belong to them. Football is the passion of this country. It belongs to all of us. And it's a collective effort, a collective preparation that took us to the World Cup. So if indeed they interfere in player selection to always bring us back to this situation, what we'll be doing now, a lot of arithmetic and statistics and mathematics anytime we go for tournaments, then I think we all have to add our voice. And I believe the Committee on Youth and Sports would want to investigate if it's indeed the truth that they've been interfering in player selection. Mr. Speaker, I also want to go back to some of the objectives that our Honorable Minister raised, that is put us on a very high standard, and we've qualified for the next round and all that. Mr. Speaker, as I said earlier, we have a very youthful team. They are very they have skillful players, but unfortunately, sometimes we don't see them, the continuation as a team, because maybe the preparation doesn't normally start on time, and if the ministry and the GFA would want to look to that aspect of it,